Incredible.
Yeah, it really is a mental sport at this game. At this point, your physicality and your fitness is there. It's all up in the head, which is the
Absolutely.
challenge.
And then there are so many things that can come at you. I mean, working order, for example, because obviously we all have our favourite apparatus. When the working order comes out, are you crossing your fingers for your best apparatus first or last?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes, yes, you want your best apparatus early on to get the momentum, but at the same time, there's apparatus you need more energy for. So it varies per athlete, but yeah, it's all dependent.
Very interesting. And obviously, warm up. You get a 30-second touch warm up. So tell us exactly what that means.
Yeah, so it just pretty much means you had the all-around warm-up before this broadcast started, so you wouldn't see that, but it's about an hour, and then obviously by the time you get to that apparatus again, you get a bit cold, so you get one touch on the apparatus, and then you're on the competition floor. And speaking of competition floor, we have Adelaide Hooper of Queensland up. Georgia, take us away.
Beautiful choreography. We know that choreography is a really important part of the judging process. Opening with a backward double pike on her feet, nice and clean. We have her leap line, a change leg into a tourjete. One and a half twist, punch front layout, a little bit short on the landing there, but she's on her feet. One of the hard things about a floor routine is not only do you need to do these incredible tumbling lines and all of these leap series, but you have to look artistic and emotional and connect with the audience. She's doing a great job.
Beautiful routine from Adelaide right there. Great start for her. Very expressive. It's great to see. And then we're going across to the bars where we have Brianna Scott. And Georgia, I was just talking to you yesterday about how impressed I am with how Brianna has really upped her bar. She used to train in New South Wales under Yusuf Tapari, who's still a coach over in Victoria. But one thing she always struggled with when I trained with her back there was bars. It was kind of a bit of her Achilles heel, but she's become a very solid worker on this event, both for the team and all around. In fact, she finished, where was it, in the all-around last year? I believe 11th?
11th.
At the World Championship, so...
Which is incredibly impressive. So this is a world-class routine we're about to see.
Alrighty, off we go. Jumps up to the high bar, hip handstand. Judges are going to be looking for that handstand. Blind change straight into the Jaeger pike. Very nice.
Bang into handstand each cast that she does.
Down to the Pak Salto. Little short there, but works into the clear hip Shaposhnikova.
You can see how strong and powerful she is just by the way that she swings around the bar.
Watch this dismount. Potentially the best double layout full I've ever seen. Wow. Hips
Incredible.
Straight all the way through to the floor. You never really see that from an athlete. They often have to pike to get such a big skill around, but Brianna keeps everything glued together right until she hits the floor.
It's a very high difficult dismount there. That's why she's 11th in the world. So Victoria's going pretty strongly so far. Let's see if they can stay in the lead once their bar rotation is done. Looks like next up is Romy Brown.
Yep, Romy is chalking up on uneven bars. Romy has been plagued a little bit with ACL injuries. Unfortunately, did two. Managed to come back from her first one in 2023 to 2024 Australian Gymnastics Championships, where she unfortunately did it. Well, she was looking great in the lead up to that games selection. But she's happy to be back here, back to the all-around. She's been putting in the work. I think people don't really understand how much has to go into coming back from, let alone one major injury, but a second. And that mental game it plays in such a high impact sport, but she's done an incredible job with her team. Spoken Yusuf Tapari, and he couldn't be more proud of the work she's put in. So, looking forward to see what she puts out here.
Yeah, it really shows how mentally tough she is coming back from 2 massive injuries like that. The dedication into your rehab every single day must be incredibly high.
Absolutely. As she patiently waits for the judges to do their thing. What was your routine before a routine? Did you have any superstitions? Did you just sit there and go through your skills in your head? How did you go about it?
The only thing I can remember on bars is continuously looking at the bar to see if it's dried out from when I've sprayed it with water. Gymnasts like to, do little final touches, making sure the bar's really grippy. Spray the bar with some water, put a last-minute chalk on, and I don't know why that was my focus, but it was.
I thought you were going to say you look back to see if the bar was still there, because actually I've seen athletes just before they mount, they look back to the high bar.
They look back, yeah.
But yeah.
Often because they do their low to high shat move, they have to look backwards like that. Over to beam.
Ooh, the queen of Australian gymnastics, Georgia Godwin. Cleared it up for everyone. It's not Goodwin, it's Godwin. So
Godwin.
Be sure to pronounce that ahead of the Commonwealth Games. But I'm sure you'll be hearing her name plenty. The reigning Commonwealth Games all-around champion was out of the all-around last year, as mentioned, due to that Achilles injury and that comeback. So she's hungry for this. She looked great at Oceania Championships, where she secured the title, I believe, and she looked even better. Oh no, sorry, not that secured the title. She secured multiple gold medals on events because she didn't compete floor. But this is the competition where she'll come back to it. So, yeah, just a weapon all around.
And she has her own skill, is that right, Heath?
She sure does, on the uneven bars. So she has the Weiler full. So essentially a Weiler, which is a front free hip circle, is the easiest way to explain it. And then she does a full pirouette on top of it. Actually took a bit of a nasty fall in podium training yesterday, but got right back up like the champ she is and is ready to go. And off she comes.
Here we go.
Let's go, Georgia.
Three connection there. She's got a lot of connections in this beam routine, which adds to her start score.
Beautiful side salto into another leap. It'll be interesting to see what the judges do with these connections. As I've said, they're quite ruthless these days, and
they're pretty tough.
Beam is very, very hard. Georgia's construction is built very much around these connections, and when they're on, they're wonderful to watch. So hopefully everything can come together. Nice acro series there. Flick into a back pike to 2 feet.
To her side aerial. Little wobble there.
Ooh.
She's fighting. Arguably one of her signature moves, her wolf triple, done beautifully.
Absolutely. I believe after Lauren Mitchell, alongside her, they were both the Australians that kind of cemented a wolf turn.
Yeah.
Just the dismount left.
Couple of wobbles so far in this routine, but she's on the beam.
I believe it's a 2-day all-around competition for WAG, so it's a lot of gymnastics to get through. So as long as you're staying on these early days, you're happy. And talking about staying on,
beautiful.
That was a great way to get off. Beautiful double pike, very solid landing, and good job, G.
High difficulty dismount there again.
Over to, I believe, Emily Whitehead on bars. To her toe circles. Shposhnik over half. Straight up to handstand. Toe on, blind full. Little bit lower.
I believe that is Hayley Whitehead. It's the
It
other
is.
Whitehead.
Well, speaking of Whiteheads, this is the younger sister of Emily Whitehead. So everyone, meet Hayley.
They do look very
they look
similar,
so
don't
similar
they?
on the bars.
I mean, their gymnastics is quite similar. All right, here we have Indy from Queensland.
Sure do.
Nice double tuck there.
Good Good job. She recently competed at the Commonwealth Games trials, and she was so thrilled to be a part of that group. Ultimately wasn't selected as a team, but in saying that, very young, has a great future ahead of her, and if she keeps taking those experiences as gratefully as she does, then it's going to do her a lot of favors, and it's just more under the belt to put towards the future.
Definitely. You can see they've added corner mats into the floor, which is, I've never seen that before, but I believe they do it in America now.
They sure do. I like it. I like it.
I mean, it keeps things safe for the athletes, which is what we're all about. We're going to see some powerful tumbling lines. Want to have a little extra pad in.
You can see on the wrist there, wearing the tiger paws. It's just a bit of a support. Did you ever wear tiger paws in gymnastics?
I did actually. I wore tiger paws, I think, my whole career, really.
Interestingly enough, I only just started wearing only one. But,
Just one?
Just one this year. You know, just that extra bit of wrist support, and I think it also kind of looks cool.
It does look a bit cool. It does look.
Some beautiful dance to start the routine into a gorgeous proper leap. Nice extension into the corner. To her first tumble, a double pike.
There's that leap line. The leap line has to move around the floor according to the code of points. You need to make sure you use all parts of the floor. Beautiful wolf double.
One and a half punch front tuck. Nice to see the choreography matching to the music. It's a very important part to receive good artistry score from the judges. Winding up for her final pass here. Deep breath in the corner. Moment of focus. Round off flick. Double tuck. Pulls it around very nicely. Gorgeous routine right there.
Another nice floor routine from Queensland. Coach is happy. Coach is happy, gymnast is happy. Or is it the other way around?
Depends on the
Gymnast
day.
is happy, the coach is happy.
Very much depends on the day. Looks like we're gearing up for Ruby pass on floor. Standing over in the other corner, having her teammate Adelaide help her here. Marking where that out of bounds is to ensure that she doesn't go too far.
Now they are allowed floor mats. Is it with a deduction or a certain high element? They're allowed a floor mat?
When we go to an international competition, it's not allowed, but as mentioned earlier, these competition seasons are very, very long, and the priority is such as the Commonwealth Games, the World Championships. So you want to sustain your athletes, you want to make sure that their bodies are healthy, and this is just kind of a measure that is put in place to ensure that you minimize the risk of injury at a national championship. So it's only one 5-centimeter mat, I believe, but it actually makes a world of difference on something like floor.
And I think that's the difference we're seeing with the age of the athletes and the longevity that's increasing is all these little measures, they do add up and they do prevent a lot of injuries, a lot of wear and tear injuries, and just leads to happier, healthier athletes.
Yeah, interesting. Speaking of more mature athletes, you would think Ruby Pass is a veteran because she's been around for so long, but she's just 18 years old or 19 years old.
She's just a baby.
Yeah, she's just a baby. But no, she is a force to be reckoned with. Sit back, watch, and enjoy. Dramatic music and dance to start. Should be opening with a double Arabian. Strong run, around a flick. There it is.
Nicely done. A little bit out of the floor there.
Ruby mentioned to us yesterday that due to being a bit sick the last few weeks, she's dwindled down to a 3-pass routine just to prioritize the execution, as we mentioned, and
Yep.
so far that's a great decision.
Strategic move.
Very nice leaps there, right into her artistic dance and seamlessly into a double wolf.
Ruby usually has quite I think one of the highest start scores on the floor, so
She sure does.
very exciting to see what she's going to bring to Commonwealth Games.
Absolutely. Hopefully those extra few weeks of rest and recovery will do her a world of good. And finishing up here with her last pass into a double tuck. Plenty of power.
You can see how much more she's got in there.
Absolutely. But no, this is
Nicely done.
a perfect start for Ruby, and hopefully something that will instill plenty of confidence in her going into her first Commonwealth Games in a few weeks.
Again, like we said earlier, this national championships is different for each athlete. A lot of the
Sure is.
Commonwealth Games athletes, it's a checkpoint. See what's ready, what's not. But the priority is that Commonwealth Games.
Sure is. It's interesting with strategy, however, for both the men's and women's, this is also a major selection point for a world championship. So you still want to show up and do your best gymnastics, but on the other hand, if you have a Commonwealth Games, you also want to preserve yourself as much as you can. So yeah, some of those little measures, like using a mat on the floor, can very easily see she does not need a mat for the double Arabian, but it's just going to save her body and make sure that she can put out her best gymnastics here, but also her best gymnastics for the year ahead.
Definitely doesn't stop the double Arabian from being any less impressive.
WA here up on beam, starting all the way from the end of the beam for that acro series, and
3 acro series, very impressive. Unfortunately,
just off,
Yep.
but nonetheless doesn't take away how impressive that was. Recovers into the leaps after the side aerial, small wobble. Back full to finish, and great routine from what I believe is Elena, who just celebrated her birthday yesterday, her 20th, so happy birthday,
happy
Elena.
birthday, Elena.
Exactly.
We have Kira Lee on bars.
Looks like she fell off on her piked Jaeger, so is jumping back up to finish the rest of the routine.
And she's on her feet.
It's always hard to recover after a fall, but there's still plenty of gymnastics to do, so you kind of have to snap out of it. You have 30 seconds
You do have to
kick yourself a little bit and get back up. But
stay composed.
yeah, it's a task in itself.
If you are just joining us on the live stream, welcome to the Australian Gymnastics Championships 2026, coming to you from Key Centre, Sydney Olympic Park. My name is Jess Miller, and your commentators today are Australian and Oceania champion Heath Thorpe and dual Olympian and 3-time Commonwealth Games medalist Georgia Benora. Of course, this competition is the most significant gymnastics event in the entire country, bringing together the nation's top artistic, trampoline, rhythmic, aerobic and acrobatic gymnasts from every state and territory. Today is day 1 of the MAG and WAG Senior International Competition. Currently, a rotation is happening and warm-up is commencing. So, third rotation, floor will be ACT and Queensland individual, SA and Vic individual. Heading to pommel, we've got New South Wales individual on rings, New South Wales team on vault, the Queensland team on P-bars, and Victorian team on high bar. That's for MAG. And for WAG, rotation 3, we have on vault Queensland, Vic taking to the beam, and New South Wales, SA and WA taking to the floor. Now, George, I have to ask, when you say own skill, that essentially means that you're etching yourself into gymnastics history by creating your own skill and getting it approved. How does that work?
Yeah, it's very exciting. It's when you sort of you have a skill that you have practiced in training and something that's not in the code of points yet, and you need to compete it at a high level competition, and they need to sign off it and the judges, and then after that, it's yours. It's very exciting.
Forever and ever.
Yep, Georgia and Jessie at the moment have their own skill.
So that's Jessie Moore on pommel.
Yep, very exciting. Some of the previous athletes in Australia who have had their own skill is Lauren Mitchell, has the Mitchell. I believe Marianne Mockton has a Mockton on bars. Potentially Olivia Vivian even on bars. So it's not the first, but it's always very exciting when we've got another athlete that has one of theirs.
So let me get this straight. You're essentially learning all of these new skills that already exist, trying to sort out your difficulty score and make sure that that works with your execution, which has to be perfect, of course. But in that time, you might also come up with your own skill.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you can see Georgia Goulburn's really strong at her wireless, and she's very strong at pivoting. So why not put them together and see how many pivots she can do? And she clearly does it really well. So, yeah, good for her.
And obviously you have to test the waters because you don't want to just chuck a skill and see what happens. It is like something you really have to drill in and nail the basics before you can get to that point.
You definitely have. You have to nail the basics. You have to be really confident before you bring it out to, the world stage. We all know that Simone Biles has, she's got a Biles 1, a Biles 2, 3, 4, and 5. So it's, that just shows the caliber of athlete that she is.
Unbelievable. And when we say drills, that essentially means something that you repeat until it becomes natural enough so that when you put all of the drills together, you're doing this. You describe it. You describe it much better.
The drills, it's an interesting thing to try and explain when you've been doing it for such a long time. The sort of drills that you do for all of these amazing skills that we see are, for example, an acro series on beam, there could be drills for the takeoff of the back handspring. There could be drills for the support stage. There could be drills for the landing stage. And you want to practice all those drills so that the skill sort of comes together and you're doing it as close to technically perfect as possible.
Okay, that makes sense. And I mean, if we reduce things right back, for example, there are also progression stages. So somebody wants to learn a back handspring on the beam. Obviously, stage 1 is being able to nail it on the floor. Then you would do it in a straight line on the floor.
Yep.
Then
Hopefully.
You would take it. Fingers crossed.
You want to do it on a 10 centimetre wide beam.
That's your iPhone, essentially.
Yes, it's pretty crazy when you think about it that way. I challenge you all at home to put your iPhone on the ground.
Lay a number of iPhones next to each other and do a backflip on it.
And do a backflip on it. I challenge you, and if you do, tag me. I want to see.
And then do it a metre high.
Yeah.
We don't recommend doing this, by the way, unless you are an elite gymnast.
Please don't.
We are not accountable for anything you try at home right now.
Please do not come for me.
But essentially, you'd have to do that on a low beam with a mat, with coach assisting, and then you increase the height of the beam and just eventually make your way up to that stage.
Yes, definitely. Here we have P-bars.
Alistair Hull up of Queensland. Giant through to a nice tapel.
You can hear everyone cheering him on.
Getting behind him, and nice double front to finish. Couldn't see it on the stream, but Queensland are gunning for this title. They had back-to-back stock vaults last rotation, so you can feel the energy with them. They want this team title badly.
They do. You can see it in their eyes. They looked that way in podium training as well. They mean business.
Sure did. Looks like they're doing a Canadian-style warm-up. I just saw Jack Reek of Queensland warm up quickly after Alistair Hull, whilst the others prep the bars for the next routine. So a little bit odd. We don't really see that often at this level, but it does make the competition move a little bit quicker, so that's probably what they're thinking.
Yeah. So last minute chalk touches on the bar, making sure it's all grippy. It's amazing the difference a slippery bar makes to a routine.
Sure does. Speaking of gripping up, we have James Hardy, Commonwealth Games team member, currently ranked 15th in the world on vault after a very good performance last year in Jakarta, Indonesia. This will be his Commonwealth Games debut. It's been a dream of his since being a kid, but alongside that, James studies aerospace engineering at QUT, and he recently completed an internship at the Gilmore Space Technologies. I actually lived with him for a few years when I was doing homestay, and yeah, the nerd was always in there, but he's also an incredible gymnast, and it's nice to see it come to fruition at the senior level. Straight whip it into the Healy. P-bars is definitely not his stronger apparatus, but it's imperative that he puts up a strong performance, both for the team in Glasgow, but the team here as well. Alongside his all-around chances, he scored very well earlier in the year with DTB, a 77, so he's looking to get around a similar score, if not a bit higher. Fights to the end. Good save on that double pike. Came in a bit low. You could see towards the end he started struggling a little bit, but that's what makes an athlete a veteran, when they know how to work through a routine when it's not their best. And that's exactly what he did.
Here we have Larissa Haven on the floor. Just did her double Arabian earlier, was up on her feet.
Good to see.
Front layout full, front tuck full.
Pretty good. Yeah, triple turn there.
Here's her last pass. You can see her taking a deep breath.
Come on, Larissa.
On your feet.
Round off should be a 2.5 dismount, and it is.
2.5 twist.
It's like she's never left. Good
And
job,
she's got a
Larissa.
huge smile on her face. Happy to get through that.
So good to see. So good to see athletes returning to the sport and finding a love and a purpose for it. Congratulations to Larissa and her team.
Larissa's at Divine Gymnastics?
Sure is, yeah. She's back in New South Wales. She's represented a few states, I believe. Victoria,
Queensland.
New South Wales. Her and I both.
Just hasn't been to WA yet. And South
quite.
Australia. And Tassie. Sorry, Tassie.
Yeah.
keep forgetting Tassie.
Oh, wow. You can't see it on the stream here, but I want to shout out that Ruby Pass just put Ichenko double twist to her feet. She was quite nervous about it in podium training, but it's good to see, and that is a key bit of gymnastics for Australia's gold medal chances as a team in Glasgow.
Yeah.
So shout out Ruby.
Notoriously not being that strong on vault, so it's amazing that a double twist is back in the mix.
And I believe that's the first double twist she's put in competition since potentially Paris Olympics.
Wow.
So good on her. It's always a scary one, the first one.
It really is.
But it looked great.
There's a reason you don't see a huge amount of double twists, and that's because they're very hard.
They sure are. Over on floor, we have one of Queensland's individuals. Just went for a double-double as a second pass, so it's quite impressive.
Very impressive.
And a triple twist side pass. That is now a compulsory part of element. You have to show an artistic skill in men's gymnastics. It's a bit of a controversial one, so sorry to the people I kind of influenced to have that in there.
I think it's great. I think it's great to see.
Too. But,
why not? It's artistic gymnastics.
Yeah, it sure is. We have a few men here actually doing some leaps, and one of the leaps is honorarily named after myself from the Aussie World Cup. So the first men's gymnastics sleep to be valued. So we're going to see a few of them here today. So
that's very exciting.
shout out to myself, I guess.
Congratulations. That's
Thank you.
big achievement. Changing gymnastics.
Doing my best.
We have Lucy Stewart on floor.
Lucy has probably one of my favorite dance routines. She really connects all of her body and emphasizes the emotion she's wanting to portray, and you'll see that right from the start here. Seamless, dramatic, and straight into her first pass.
We've got a nice rounded flip double pike. Very high, very neat. Little hop back. Triple woof. Fun fact, this was my floor routine. Floor
Was
music.
it? Oh, wow.
Back
There
in
you
the day.
go.
Pre-senior.
I just love how she's so intentional with every bit of her movement.
It's great choreography, and she does it very well.
Yeah, gorgeous gymnast.
Split half. Executed really well. Hopefully we got a high execution score for her at the end of this.
Saved that leg up turn quite well. It's important that you hold it all the way around to from where your feet started to get credit, and she's falling out of it a little bit, but I think she stayed the course.
Sometimes it's about covering it so well the judges don't notice,
Exactly.
which is a skill in itself.
Last pass here, up into the double tuck. Very easy for her, or at least she makes it look very easy.
That's the goal in gymnastics, is do really hard things, make it look easy.
Ugh, I love that routine. Good job, Lucy. In the background, couldn't quite see it, but a nice Yurchenko full from Kate Sayer. Now we have another WA gymnast up. Front full, punch double front.
Just out of the floor, you see that green flag's gone up. So tell the judges, make sure they take the appropriate deduction for that.
Nice second pass there from Luke. Round off layout down the side. Similar to WAG, you want to use most of the floor as much as you can. There's requirements to get to and from certain corners, and you can't repeat the same corner too many times. Also, a part of these new artistry rules, it's imperative if you want to avoid a 0.3 deduction that every single one of your corner transitions has to be unique. So that's a brand new rule only coming this year. So you're kind of seeing gymnasts having to get a bit more creative with how they get to the corner, and it's kind of, it's hoped to remove the simple man hop to the corner.
Yeah, that's interesting. I didn't know that came into play with MAG athletes as well.
No, only, this year.
I have to say, I have to be honest, when that rule came in for WAG, I did not like it one bit. I like standing in there in the corner, having a deep breath for as long as I can.
Well, it's interesting. On one hand, you obviously want to make gymnastics look presentable, and
Yes.
I do understand that, but also you don't want it to negate the difficulty in an athlete's ability to do the skills. So I think like in WAG, we saw sometimes athletes not doing as big a dismounts because they didn't have that second to collect themselves.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, it enhanced the performance. So, there's pros and cons to everything. And just on P-bars there, we had Eli Pullen finishing nicely with the double front and going straight over to Georgia Godwin's first floor routine in over 2 years.
It's very exciting. I can't wait to see how she does with her floor tonight. She has a very high start score on floor.
Sure does.
She performs it really well, very consistently.
Not sure we'll get her full difficulty tonight. She's still building back, and for her, it's more of a mental game than a physical. An Achilles injury is obviously something that's in your head, but her and her team have done a great job, and here is a brand new routine. So sit back and enjoy the drama of it all.
Triple woof.
Wow. Oh, wow.
Beautifully done. Front layout, punch, double front, rebounded into a stag leap.
And who said she didn't compete at floor for 2 years? That is the best lay punch double front landing I've seen from Georgia Godwin. Straight into her leap series, using that full floor, as you mentioned, Georgia. Gearing up for her second pass here. Nice full body movement and elongation. Front full, front full.
You can see she's still got power in there after that tumbling line.
Sure does.
It's a nice piece of music.
Yeah, it's really beautiful. I really enjoy this routine from her. Shows off her strength, her character, her power. Speaking of power, into the final last pass. Round a flick. Huge double tuck.
Beautiful landing. In control.
Wow. Welcome back, Georgia Godwin.
She is back, baby.
That is why she is the queen of Australian gymnastics.
Can you believe there was a time where she won the Nationals all-around and wasn't selected?
2014 Commonwealth Games.
The Commonwealth Games. Can you
Yeah,
believe
I
that?
can
Look
not
at her now.
believe that. And I do feel like that was a part of her redemption arc. And as misfortunate as it was and unjust as it was at the time, I think it built her a strength and a resilience that really makes her who she is.
She doesn't let anyone make the decisions for her now. She
Does not.
tells people.
Up on floor, we have Nathaniel of Western Australia. Nice double full to start. And a double front, also a requirement to have a forward double salto. Right down to the side. Nice double twist to a stuck landing. Unrelated, but I really like this WA uniform. It's quite nice.
It's quite nice. I like all the sublimated leotards these days. You can really
Alrighty, the first we're seeing of Jesse Moore. Speaking of Australian goats, here's another one. This is one of the apparatus he is known for. Beautiful scissor in, straight into his flare work.
Will we see them more?
We won't today. I'll talk about that a little more after the routine. Into his flop work. That there is an incredibly hard flop. And again, into some more flop work. Pushing strong, maintaining his tallness in his travel work here. Just the dismount left. Up, there we go. Double turn, and Jesse Moore, have yourself a day so far. He's happy with that. So on the note of his skill, it was valued at G, which is one of the highest skills on pommel. Yeah, incredible. He played with it a little bit, but I mean, he's the only one to have ever performed it in the world then and since. So it just didn't make sense for him in an all-around context. If he makes an all-around, a pommel final at the Commonwealth Games, we may see it. He may just go for broke, which is a very likely outcome. As you can see, world-class pommel worker alongside every other bit of gymnastics he does. His goal is to be a world all-around medalist, and I can see that in the future for him if he keeps on track. And moving to floor, we have Emma Morris of South Australia.
Double tuck there. Emma's studying at Edith Cowan University at the moment.
Yeah, I went to 2025 World Uni Games with her, and it was her first time representing Australia at a senior level, and she just had the best time. She was so happy to be there, and yeah.
It's a fun competition, Uni Games.
Sure is. Did you ever get to do it?
I didn't. I wish I did.
It was so fun. I think we've done it twice now. I myself have done it twice, and it's always a highlight. Nice leaps and extension here. Into her wolf turn. Very nice.
We have a double twist. What a cover.
I'm so here for that. I'm not sure the judges are going to be quite fooled on that, but
I loved that.
that was camp. I loved that. I loved that.
Just pulled up a little short. Quick thinking. Let's chuck a frontside out of it.
That is great. She's having a little laugh about it herself.
I don't think they noticed.
I'm not sure they noticed. And even if they did, it's better to fall in style to then fall without
Exactly,
style.
and that had style.
Hey, we're talking about it, so it did something.
Here we have Ursula Sadlow from Western Australia.
Just the two from WA here. But as mentioned earlier, it's always good to see some state representation, and it's hard for WA. They're so far across the other side of the country. They don't get to travel as much for the local domestic competition, so this is such an important experience for them, not just for selection and whatnot, but just to get out on the competition floor. It's quite isolated over there in the gymnastics world, so it's good to see them here.
Yeah, it is a bit of a trek for WA, and when things come into play like jet lag and things like that, and you have, 2, 3, sometimes 4-day competitions, definitely comes into play. And she's ready to go. Triple woof. Opening with a double pike. Just under-rotated that one. I know she fell backwards, but definitely under-rotated that one, unfortunately. It's a leg up turn there. Very difficult turn, a little bit off axis there, off her balance point. Handspring front layout, beautifully performed. Preparing for the last tumbling line. Nice, clean, full twist. Great landing. Just that unfortunate fall in that first pass.
But finish it off quite well. Good job to Ursula. Looks like that may be the last competitor on floor, and now we head over to beam.
Here we have Kira Lee from Eclipse from Victoria. There's a dismount, a nice layout full. Beautifully done. We're hoping the rest of the team was just as nice.
Let's hope so. Well, it looks like they have been, because the Vic are ahead by 3 marks in the women's team competition, followed by Queensland and then New South Wales. So it looks like they had themselves a decent rotation.
So that's quite a big lead for Victoria.
Yeah.
It looks like we might be seeing another year with Vic on top.
Looks like we might just.
As we rotate to our 4th rotation, just a reminder, you can grab your tickets if you want to see these athletes in their peak form ahead of the Commonwealth Games. Just go to ozgymnasticschamps.com.au. There are day passes, unlimited passes, single session passes, and a VIP package as well. because the Australian Gymnastics Championships 2026 happening here at Key Centre, Sydney Olympic Park is certainly something else, isn't it, Heath? Are you enjoying yourself so far?
I sure am. It's this arena has a nice, intimate vibe to it. It feels very close-knit, which is actually a great thing. We have a crowd, which is good. There's a nice energy in the arena today, and it's really, really cool to see.
There really is a nice energy, and do you think that comes from the crowd or the gymnasts, or what is it?
Yeah, I think it's a combination of all. Previously, we've had it on the Gold Coast, and whilst it was an incredibly beautiful arena, it was huge. There was a lot of open air, a lot of open space, which is nice to look at, but I think it makes everything feel a little bit too spaced out. This, we have everyone kind of like, right next to each other, so you're in amongst the action, and you're really feeling every bit of the gymnast routine with them.
Yeah, and they certainly are really supporting each other and getting around each other, which is so lovely. So with the groups, obviously some of them have, for example, Group F is South Australia and Vic individual. That's for MAG, who are just about to take to the rings. How does that work? How do their groups work?
Yeah, so for a state team, there is, at least in men's gymnastics, there's 6 selected. But often, of course, you would have athletes of such standard ready enough to come to Australian Championships, but didn't quite fit into the team lineup. So what we do at Australian Championships is we allow them to compete as an individual. So they're still eligible for all medals outside of the team competition, which will be allocated today. So that's why sometimes you see 6 in one group and then kind of like a few after in another group.
Okay, that makes sense. So when we say to you, for example, right now, MAG, rotation for floor, that's Group D, which is the Victorian team. And then pommel is Group E, that's ACT and Queensland individuals. So that, of course, makes sense. Now, rings for rotation 4 is Group F, that is South Australia and Vic individual. Taking to the vault is New South Wales individual. Parallel bars, New South Wales team, and high bar, Queensland team. And for WAG, we've got Group B, New South Wales, SA and WA on vault. Queensland taking to the bars and Victoria taking to the floor. Of course, your commentators today, Heath Thorpe and Georgia Bonora. Definitely no strangers to standing on the dais. Is it a dais or a podium? What's the difference?
We say podium, but
Podium?
I think it's technically a dais.
But then does it get confusing when people say podium training? Because that essentially is when everyone warms up the day before the competition.
Funny enough, I actually just explain it to non-gymnasts as a dress rehearsal. You kind of go out as your last run through. It's the easiest way to explain it. But yeah, sometimes I've been like, I'm going to podium training. People are like, you practicing getting on the podium? I'm like, no, it's not that.
You're like, I've had plenty of practice at that, thank you.
Thank you. No, I don't need
know
to do
what that feels like.
But no, podium training is just, they were out here, I say, on this exact competition equipment. So it's an opportunity afforded to our senior athletes just to make sure they're extra prepared for today.
And of course, you take to this particular floor may be different to the last floor you were on because it's never going to be exact. So what is the variations in gymnastics equipment?
So much variation. I mean, World Gymnastics do a great job of standardizing the equipment. So like Spieth, who is the manufacturer for this equipment, it's very, very similar no matter where it's on, but sometimes it can be different based on the floor it is set up on. So sometimes if a floor like a basketball court might have a little more bounce to concrete. So you definitely do feel that. And when you're doing such high level skills, it's very fine in what makes a difference. So like 2 centimeters on a P-bar width can make a world of difference. So yeah, it's imperative that we get that podium training.
I imagine it's a little bit nerve-wracking if you've been in a gym training one particular tumble line on the floor with a certain amount of springiness. The second you step onto a floor that is perhaps a little bit more springy, you're going to over-rotate and then it's disastrous.
But yeah, even more of a testament to these high-level athletes. There's so much that goes on behind the scenes that we don't see.
Absolutely. And also, aside from that, you both mentioned that gymnasts are studying simultaneously to training. I thought this was a full-time gig because based on the skills they are doing, you would think so.
Don't I wish it was a full-time gig. I would love that. No, unfortunately. But to be fair, it's not specific to gymnastics. Australian sport is often the case where athletes are juggling full-time jobs, part-time jobs, they're juggling university degrees. We really do it for the love of it. It's improving, the funding situation's improving across Australian sport with the government just announcing actually a boost. But yeah, in short, they do it because they want to do it. And speaking of wanting to do it, we have Ruby Pass up on bars, one of her known events. Kip up into her Weiler. Straight into the second Weiler with a half turn into the Shaposhnikova. Clear hip to Kachev. Oh,
Ah,
just a little bit too over. You saw where her clear hip direction went. Ideally, you want your feet to be a little bit more in front of the bar so you can kind of snap up and stay on top. Unfortunately, feet just went a little bit over and her body kind of came over and down rather than over and up. A margin of centimeters.
it's a tricky connection to make going in from a back uprise
Yeah.
into a Tkachev like that.
But as we said earlier, 30 seconds.
Back on the bar.
She's done this before and she's going to finish the routine to the best of her ability.
Back salto. Do a sharp half.
Bit of a knee bend there. Looks like she may have felt like she was just a bit too far away, but grabs onto the bar. Toe full.
Toe full.
Oh,
Just came off a little early.
it's unfortunate. Obviously a bit disappointed and frustrated there. There's a lot of work that goes into this, and when it doesn't come together on the day, it's heartbreaking. But, you know, Ruby, as we said, she's just 18, 19 years old, so plenty ahead of her.
She's
And
very young.
yeah, she will have many more competitions ahead of her.
Just the dismount left.
Time to finish strong here. Going again. Toe on. Arabian double front and sits it down, unfortunately. Sometimes when you lose the momentum of the routine, it just trickles on.
It really does affect everything. Flow is a massive thing, especially for bars. I'm
Yeah.
sure it'll be the same for mag, for high bar.
Yeah,
Sometimes you do make a mistake, even though you get to stop. It does take quite a lot of energy to stop and start again. So
it does, yeah. It's very much an event that's very, specific. On that note, I was just reminded of a thing I was told in a World Cup final. I had, I think, one of my first falls, and Tim Serbic of Croatia, who is an Olympic medalist, told me that this is not the first final you're going to fall in, so you better get used to it.
Yeah.
And at the time, I was like, that is horrible advice. Why would this man say this to me? And once I sat back and kind of thought about it, I was like, no, he's right. Because one, he's saying that he has a belief that I'll be in more World Cup finals and the
Yes.
ability's there. But two, he's not wrong. You see the end result. You see an Olympic medal that happens every 4 years.
yeah,
But a lot of falls go
it's
into
a lot
it
of
before
falls
then.
in between.
Ridham Malik up on P-bars here, finishing off his routine with a double pike. Ridham studies business at Penn State University on a full ride scholarship, followed in the steps of, you know, Tyson Bull and Clay
Yep.
Stevens, who
Yep.
competed for University of Illinois. So it's pretty cool to see him juggling his first year of college in the US and making a Commonwealth Games team in his first year senior.
It's just another thing that gymnastics can give. You can go overseas, study, really can lead into so many different things.
For sure. I'm an advocate for taking as many opportunities out of gymnastics as you can. Travel while you can, while you love it, because something we take for gratitude when we're in the sport, but it's those 5 trips overseas a year isn't normal.
No, it really isn't. It really isn't. We've got a lot of athletes who have, gone to Cirque du Soleil,
Yeah, yeah.
college gymnastics, reality TV shows. Start here, go anywhere.
Yes, there we go. Chalking up the bars is Hinata Caballero. Actually, should be said customarily, as it is in Japan, family name first, so Caballero Hinata. But he told me he didn't want people getting confused, so he told me to say
Okay.
Hinata this time around.
Fair enough.
But while it's chalking up, we're heading over to P-Bars, where we have Jack Reek of Queensland, known mostly for his rings, but actually when you guys were talking about skills and coda points earlier on, he had one in 2018. It was a skill on floor, and it got valued, got put in, and then the next coda points came in, and they took it out.
What?
Yeah. But
They
guess
can't do that.
they did, but I guess, hey, not many people can say I had a skill, and then it was gone.
Well, he's the only one that can say that.
Exactly. But yeah, decent routine there for Jack. He'd be happy to get through that one.
The thing that always impresses me with high bar is I know, women have bars and they do releases where they let go of the bar, catch the same bar. Sometimes they miss it, as we unfortunately saw Ruby earlier. But with men's gymnastics, their releases are often a lot higher, and that bar is a lot higher. That fall
my gosh,
is
yeah.
a lot larger.
It's It's my best apparatus, but it's my scariest apparatus.
Yeah.
It's something you can't think about too much when you're up there, and people see these mats and like it's nice and soft. I encourage you to jump off that high bar onto your back and see how it feels.
Yeah.
You won't enjoy it, and neither do we. So hey, look, it's an incentive to stay on.
I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is.
But at the same time, it can be really hard to not put your releases too close to the bar because you're trying not to miss it.
Yes.
High bar is, it's always the one to watch. You get to an Olympic high bar final and you can see everyone stay on, or you can see everyone fall off.
Olympic high bar finals is the most incredible competition.
Sure is. Speaking of high bar, we have James Hardy of Queensland, 2026 Commonwealth Games team member after being a reserve for Birmingham 2022. High bar has always been a bit of a tough point for James. There we go, nice to catch off layout. But he's put in a lot of work to make sure that it's become a lot more stable and very clean work here. Straight through to the dismount, double,
Wow.
and a stuck landing again.
Beautiful.
Following his 2.5 twist stuck on vault. He's having a day of landings today. So that's good to see. He is very happy about that, as he should be. I feel like it's always funny when you have an apparatus that is always a bit of a sore point for you and can be a bit inconsistent. It becomes such a mental game because you can hit it in training, but then you get in your head and be like, I've been inconsistent with this in this competition, or it doesn't often go well for me. And that mindset can be detrimental. But he put that to the side and he made sure it was good today.
It's very, very important. And as we see here, Bree is someone who's very good at having a good mindset for competitions.
Sure is. Finished with a double pike there. Hoping the rest of the routine went well.
Very strong all-around competitor.
Looks happy enough with it, but at the same time, Brie always find hard to read her emotions. She's a bit of a quiet one.
Come on, Bree, smile.
Yeah, but no, she is a great athlete, great person, and excited to see what she does in Glasgow. Waverley have quite the squad here. Pretty much majority of the Vic team, I think, if not all of it.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, and speaking of Victoria, we have Carlos here on floor. Great tumbler and double pike, and then the double twist through the layout. Really nice corner transitions, and I think he is one of those guys that's going to do my honorary skill.
I can't wait.
So side pass, and here we go. The straddle full. There's a leap in men's gymnastics,
Wow.
and beautifully done. I think he kind of smogged me. That's better than mine. Yeah, that counts as his non-accurate and his artistry requirement, and he gets value for it. And a double pike stuck. There we go.
You don't often see too many mag athletes do double pikes, do you?
No, but also this coded points, they valued it to a D.
That's
so
why we're starting to see it more and
now
more.
everyone's like, hey, I'm going to do a
Makes
double
sense.
pike. But
Boy,
bit of a celebration there.
love that.
In saying that, though, with Mag not doing many double pikes, one of my favorite things was kind of to see Mag athletes get a little bit humbled, because they always like, a double pike's easy, like it's whatever. But when you're tired and it's a blind landing, you're pulling it around, it's quite hard. And we've seen quite a few falls. So I think people's respect for a double pike dismount, especially across on the WAG side, has gone up, and rightfully so.
100%. It's a technical skill.
Speaking of technicality, we
Wow.
have Aiden Frick here. That was a really nice stoop full. He is the reserve for the Glasgow team. Competed with him for many years, but he's really come a long way and starting to become a staple for that team, or at least the squad. Double, puts it to his feet. Queensland are on fire right now.
They're going for it.
Ooh,
Here we have Hayley Whitehead. A bit of a bounce out of that double tuck there.
I still can't believe how similar she looks to her sister in her gymnastics.
It's hard to tell them apart.
It's a compliment. It's a compliment to Emily, I guess, and also to Hayley, but they would have trained together for pretty much their whole gymnastics careers. It's always interesting seeing siblings do gymnastics and what part of the other siblings' gymnastics influences it.
Yeah, there's a lot of siblings.
Yeah.
There's a lot of siblings in gymnastics around the world, actually.
There sure is. Yeah, we just actually had the Yulo brothers in the Philippines, both medal Asian Championships, and we have obviously the Wavers sisters, which competed, and yeah, there's been a few, so it's pretty cool to see.
The sisters from England.
Yeah, Gatarobas.
Yep.
Yeah. out for her next pass here. Whoa,
Double pike.
good job
She's
there.
on her feet.
Yeah.
I think one of the most impressive things about gymnastics is seeing the gymnasts do some remarkable saves.
Yeah, I mean, as we said, they make the gymnastics so easy, and it kind of comes up when they have a save that you're like, oh, that's actually very difficult. But the strength of these
Definitely.
athletes. Oh, speaking of artistry in men's gymnastics, we have Marcus Casamento on floor here. Just got back from the 2026 Asian Championships in China. Beautiful lines. Nice double pike with a hop forward, just a little bit low, but nothing catastrophic. Double twist, punch front full, that's a better landing. Really shows off his artistry and his lines here. Everything very deliberate. Even just that pause makes it look that little bit nicer. V-sit, press through. Nice kick to the corner. Believe a triple twist down the side he's going for. There it is. Ah,
Oh, beautiful. A triple twist as a side pass is
Yep.
very impressive.
yeah. He's a multinational champion on floor. He had an Achilles rupture about 2 years ago. He's done such a great job in coming back from it, and I think now we're starting to see again that potential we saw earlier on, and I'm so happy for him. Good double
Is that
pike.
double pike?
Oh, and he is stoked with that.
Yes.
Again, Vic seemed to be
We
having a
love
team
to see
celebration.
it.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. Speaking of men's gymnastics, looking at the all-around standings, mentioned early on Hanada versus Jessie. It's about 1.4 between them, with what, 2 apparatus to go, or
Yeah, two apparatus to go.
go.
It's
Yeah.
very close.
It is, and in men's gymnastics, a lot can happen in those last 2 apparatus, but not far behind is Rita Malik in 3rd. So see where that podium ends up today, but the all-around final will be on Friday for the men's, with the scores resetting then. But it's good to see what you can expect on Friday.
It's going to be a very exciting comp to see who takes that gold.
Sure is.
Here we have Mila Brown.
Yeah, another sister of Romy Brown. There we go.
Very true. She was at the 2023 World Selection era in that squad, in
She
that group
was.
of people.
Yeah, unfortunately though, you can see her right knee strapped there. She did her ACL at the 2024 Paris Challenge Cup, so just before that world selection, and has been recovering and on the mend since. And similar as Romy,
Yep.
I mean, sisters both experiencing ACLs. I'm sure they had a lot of words of wisdom for one another, but testament to her team and her own, hard work that she's back at this level.
Very talented athlete.
Oh, gorgeous 2.5. Yeah, she's been an athlete I've been so excited to see climb up in the senior ranks. So here we go. I believe starting with a double layout. Nice and high. Wow.
Beautiful.
Bounces back, but that's power.
It's really inspiring to see athletes come back after injury and still produce world-class gymnastics like that.
Absolutely. And often you see gymnasts come back and produce even better gymnastics.
You do, you do.
Getting ready for her second pass here. Hitting that front requirement, front layout into front lay full. Steps into the dance, a very smart way of covering a deduction.
It's that leg up turn again.
All these things hitting the requirements that are asked of the gymnast in a routine. Whilst you have the ability to create your own construction, there are a few mandatories.
I'm getting ready for that last pass. This is where your legs are starting to burn.
Sure, you can see that extra breath. Pull it around.
Double tuck, very high.
Good job, Mielo. And she'd be stoked with that.
Great routine.
On the men's side, we have New South Wales almost 4 marks ahead of Queensland. So that's
4
been a switch
marks.
up, yeah. But that's gymnastics, and also team scores. There's, I believe, 4 counting scores for this competition. So, yeah.
We've got Queensland coming first at the moment.
We have another gymnast here, Connor McGilvray. Started with a double front and sat down, unfortunately, but and a double layout also unfortunately fallen. But one thing I really love about Connor's gymnastics, again, is he's one of those key athletes really pushing artistry. Saw a beautiful leap to start his routine, 2.5 down the side, stays on his feet, jump 1.5. Oh, and we have another Thorpe. There we go. Straddle full.
Think you've started something.
Maybe the case. Oh, it's unfortunate. Has to still finish the routine. It's hard after you fall once, twice, even a few times. Those legs really start burning, and it's hard to get through. And I wouldn't be surprised here if he just takes it with a safe dismount. And he does. He just does the double twist. Usually he does a double pike to finish, but wouldn't make sense in that case.
No,
And
better play it safe.
yeah, it's
Stay
smart.
healthy.
Obviously, you're frustrated and disappointed in those moments, and that's okay, but it's important to be able to be level-headed and make some safe decisions. So good for him doing that, and now he can go be frustrated on the side, but in a safe way.
In a safe way.
Exactly.
We have women athlete warming up their floor.
Yep. Looks like it might be wag up now. Yeah, it seems like we're doing a little bit different warm-up. We previously would do one wag, one mag, one wag, one mag.
Yeah.
But in saying that, maybe it's just because we're behind the screen and we're calling it. But it seems like this competition's running quite smoothly. So maybe a few of those changes has been a really good thing for from an event perspective.
Yeah, it's going pretty quickly so far. Just going back to impressive saves, I think one of the most incredible saves I've ever seen is German high bar champion. We used to call him
Fabian.
We used to call him Fabio.
Fabio, yeah, that
He
makes
had a bit of
sense.
a Fabio
Fabian
sort of look.
Hambuchken.
Fabian, yes.
Wait, Hambuchen, I think it is. Mein Deutsch ist nicht sehr gut.
Catching, what was he doing again? He was catching a release. A hand slipped and did a one-arm giant, which is a skill in men's gymnastics. It is a skill.
You're not supposed to do it from
not when you're not ready for it. It's not a skill.
But actually, funny you say that. On high bar in the background earlier, Blair Stewart of ACT did that exact thing. Went for a Coleman, one hand out, missed the other, did a one-hand giant, turned to a blind change, turned back to a pivot, kept going through the routine. It's interesting. It's like, obviously, it's amazing these athletes to do it, but I feel like so many of these saves are from fearing for your life. You just hold onto a bar. Yeah, it's something that just takes over, and those instincts really kick in, and that muscle memory saves you.
The strength to be able to, without preparing for it, holding onto the bar with one hand and giant.
From a release, mind you.
From a release.
The amount of speed and force.
The amount of force that's coming down.
Crazy. So the men's all-around standings, Jesse Moore followed by Hinata, and then Ritem in third. Men's rotation seems to mostly be done on most apparatus other than floor. And speaking of floor, we now have Nick Howard of Victoria, recently relocated to Canberra to pursue training at the National Training Centre. Starts off with a front full into a double front right there. Two and a half, punch, layout. Victorian country boy, actually, from Ballarat, I believe.
Ballarat boy.
Yeah. That's what I mean. Gymnastics takes you all around the country, all around the world, and competed with a few times with him internationally, and it's always a great time. Nice double twist there, stuck down the side. Was also a member of the 2023 World Junior Championships team. Nice Japanese press is what we call it. Wide arm press otherwise.
I find that so impressive.
Yeah, it is, hey. I've tried it, my hands slip too much.
I've tried it. I cannot do it.
To finish, double Arabian. Puts it forward, but better forward than on your butt.
Better forward than on your butt.
Yep. Good job, Nick. He'll be happy with that. Had to remove himself from essentially the Commonwealth Games selection due to a few injuries that he's had around, but good to see him back to full health and focusing on that long-term career.
And here's Emily Whitehead.
Finally, we're seeing Emily Whitehead, not Hayley Whitehead.
Not Hayley Whitehead, Emily Whitehead from the Commonwealth Games team.
Sure is. She had a shoulder reconstruction shortly after Paris Olympics. 2-time Olympian. Not many can say that alongside yourself. But one of those athletes I really believe has just come back stronger. I saw her at Oceania Championships where she won the all-around gold and looked like she had been putting in the work to get to where she is now. See what she brings on this first pass. Wow.
Double tuck.
That was incredibly high. I also believe that M is a medalist on floor at the Commonwealth Championships, or Commonwealth Games, sorry. Potentially 2018 though, because she has been to two.
Yeah,
So
she
this
has
will
been
be
to two.
this will be her third.
Yeah.
Stays in there. Good
Punch front
job.
layout.
Nice switch half there.
Look at this last pass. Double
Wow.
pike.
Stomps the ground there. She really gets some height on those passes.
She does, she does. Now, they're not the most difficult of passes, but they're executed very well. And that's what we're talking about, balance between difficulty and execution.
I think one other thing I love to see is Em has been working a lot with the Victorian Institute of Sport staff in her strength and conditioning, and that really shines in her gymnastics right now.
Yep.
I think a lot of athletes, and especially those wiser athletes, are realizing that you can get things beneficial for your gymnastics outside the gym.
Definitely.
Unfortunately, we have a fall there from Matthew Roberts of Victoria. Was competing for WA last year and also has recently moved, but this time to Melbourne. Front full punch layout there. Nice stag to the corner. Nice 2.5 down the side. Stays in there. Oh, he's opted for the scale. So this is a part of the artistry requirement. They originally released the rules saying we could only do scales, and everyone was like, absolutely not. Myself included, knowing that I'm known for my artistry, I decided to take a 0.3 deduction, not do a scale, because I can't balance well. I'm flexible, but I can't balance. And then eventually they changed it to expand the list to other artistic elements. So thankfully for me, that happened.
Well,
But he's opted to keep it.
progressing the sport.
Next up, we have Romy Brown on floor. Her first floor routine at Australian Championships since 2024.
Yeah. A very clean athlete,
Absolutely.
incredibly physically strong.
As mentioned earlier, an all-around finalist at the 2022 World Championships.
Double tuck.
Romy's coming back from that 2 ACL injuries. Not 1, but 2, and, you know, looks like she can tumble as she always has.
Yeah. Beautiful leaps there. Lovely lines.
For those watching at home, I think obviously we're looking at the tumbling and the dance skills, but one thing that is crucial to a good score these days is artistry, and that can be quite subjective, but essentially the judges will have a list and they check boxes based on if you're hitting it, and it's things such as expressiveness and complex choreography and whatnot.
Elongation.
Elongation, yeah, it's, as I said, it's quite subjective.
It's quite subjective, which makes it challenging to try and put your best stuff out there. This is, you know, we've got being judged.
Yeah.
Can be difficult, but you know, you have to try and make it so that you're leaving no doubt in the judge's mind if you have ticked off artistry.
No doubt she will want to finish this routine strong. Up in the double pike. stays on her feet. That is a wonderful save. Bounce back a
Great
bit.
save.
But you know what, Romy, good job. I think for a first floor routine back at the Australian Gymnastics Championships, that is one to be happy with.
Yep, definitely.
But yeah, on the note of the artistry and the subjectiveness of it, I saw yesterday we had judges from all around the country giving feedback to the women, saying this is what we want to see more of, this is great. So, you know, everyone's doing their best in the insular environment to make sure that our athletes are putting their best foot forward internationally. But I guess once you get overseas, it's up to those judges.
It is. It's true. We're all on one team here. The judges, coaches, athletes, support staff. We're all trying to get gymnastics in Australia to be the best place it can be. But you know, there comes challenges in, you know, what the code puts out there, and what we do here can. You don't know what's going to happen when we get to a World Championships, Commonwealth Games, Olympic Games.
Wherever it may be in the world. And
wherever it may be.
I feel like historically it's improved massively, but one of our biggest challenges is being so isolated geographically, is we didn't get to a whole lot of international meets. So you don't get that exposure to those judges that then know you as an athlete and have a perception about you before you step onto the floor. So I don't know about you, Georgia, but outside those major competitions, do you feel you compete as much as maybe the athletes are here when they're doing the world circuits, DTB, they're doing challenge cups, world championships, Commonwealth Games? What was it like for you?
Well, it's hard to answer that because you have to remember I was training in a very, very different time.
Of course.
So for me, outside of the main Olympics, Commonwealth Games, World Championships, I did not want to compete.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You know, there was a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
So those major competitions, I wanted to prepare for them, tick them off.
Get out.
And get out. But experience is everything when it comes to those high competitions. And you're right. You know, countries that are in Europe, they have a major advantage.
Yeah,
major
absolutely.
advantage.
Well, I think it speaks as well to the cultural shift we're seeing, not just in Australia, but globally, when these athletes are saying, hey, I want to get out there more and I want to compete, because now we nominate for the competitions we want to go to.
It's fantastic.
And yeah, you're seeing it in the quality of gymnastics. And
the sport has changed dramatically over the last couple of years.
Absolutely. And now to floor.
You have Kira Lee from Victoria. There's that whoop turn again. Executed beautifully. Change leg into a split leap. Preparing for her last pass here. We have a round of flip layout full. Beautifully done. Bit of a bounce out of that landing. Lovely routine by Kira Lee.
Great routine. I believe that is the finish of the women's artistic gymnastics competition.
That's women done. We have two more apparatus for the men. We have Victoria coming out first, 157.53. Queensland second, 150.697. And New South Wales coming in third, 142.795.
Well, you called it, Georgia. Victoria are our Australian team champions in the Senior International WAG.
Taking out the gold.
Congratulations to them.
If you're just joining us on the live stream, welcome to the Australian Gymnastics Championships 2026. Coming to you from the Key Centre, Sydney Olympic Park, and a beautiful, beautiful city it is to have this in, isn't it, Georgia?
It's lovely. It's a lovely city, Sydney. Happy to be here.
Vibey. The vibe is high, and it's certainly
is.
reflected in the gymnast performance today. So WAG has wrapped up for this particular session. Of course, MAG is still going. So for the fifth rotation, we have the Queensland team on floor, Vic team pommel, ACT and Queensland individual rings. SA Vic individual for vault, New South Wales individual going to P-bars, and New South Wales team taking to the high bar. So do you want to just recap the WAG, because of course the results are in now for the team all around?
Yeah, it was a very exciting competition. Victoria was strong in all 4 apparatus, really. It was exciting to see New South Wales with the team that they've got putting together, some really good routines out there. Of course, we had Georgia Godwin, first all round since Paris, I think it was. So, it was fantastic to see that. And Queensland. We had a few mistakes all around, but again, this is day 1. And it's difficult because day 1 is very important competition, but, you do have those last-minute nerves and jitters that often happen. But
Ironing out the creases.
yes, signing out the creases. So it'll be exciting to see what happens for the next day of competition.
Absolutely. And of course, if you are loving the live stream, make sure you put in your calendar Friday the 3rd of July, Senior International MAG and WAG Day 2. That'll be 5:30 p.m. till 9 p.m. And then we've got a bit of a debut happening for Saturday the 4th of July. This is very exciting. So for the first time ever, mixed team competition.
Mixed team.
Very
Very
exciting.
exciting. So this is the first time that it's that's happening. It's going to be really exciting. The Los Angeles 2008 Games is going to be introducing this, but we're going to have 3 rounds. Each gymnast will perform 1 routine on the apparatus of their choice. In round 2, top scoring teams will advance to round 2, where they will compete another routine on a different apparatus, heading down into round 3, where the top scoring teams advance to round 3, with top 2 teams competing for gold and the 3rd and 4th teams for bronze. Very exciting, never before done in Australia. I can't wait to see it.
And essentially it means that there is more opportunity for a medal overseas at the Games, Commonwealth, well, it's in the future moving forward after the LA Games initially.
Yes.
And then moving forward.
Yes, it's just another opportunity, and I believe the like you said before, the vibes are going to be very different for this competition. Gymnastics is historically a very serious sport, not unlike ballet or something like that, where it's got a big history behind it, and it's very exciting that like I was talking with Heath earlier. There's a lot of changes that are happening with the sport in the last couple of years. The culture, everyone working together, and a competition like this just brings, it's just a nice little cherry on top.
Absolutely. How would it have gone down if, when you were at the Com Games, there was a mixed team competition within it?
Oh, there would have been plenty of hazing. Plenty of hazing. That's my favourite part of a competition for me when I was competing is just doing silly things just to ease the pressure. I used to make bets before the competition on myself, not on anyone else, but I used to make bets, and if it didn't go my way, I would just pretend the bet didn't happen. And I was a child. What are they going to do?
Very true, very true. I would like to see you and Heath in a mixed team together. That would be an absolute
that would
hoot.
be fun.
That would be a riot.
I think we could get in people's heads, play mind games.
Like
Just-
what? Putting a little, crushing up the mag. So the mag for the chalk, for the non-gymnasts that they put on before the bars, just crushing it up, because you get it in the big blocks, right?
Yes, and gymnasts are notoriously pretty particular with things. Like, some people like their cube of chalk broken in a certain way. Like, it gets down to that point. So, maybe I'd accidentally break it in a different way. Maybe I'd accidentally crush it up. Carve a message on the mat. Things like that. Maybe I'd get some honey, take a leaf out of the mag book and put some honey on the bar.
So is that a mag thing at that stage? It hasn't bled over into the WAG competition yet?
No, I mean, it with athletes who don't have grips, they I think at least they used to put some honey and things on their hands, which is quite difficult if you're in a rotation with another country who don't have grips, because they do all sorts of things to the bars that make it really slippery for people that do have grips. So Yeah, so, you know, maybe certain things like that would come out if I was in a mixed team.
And it is just personal preference, isn't it?
I think so. I think it's a good thing that I'm not doing gymnastics anymore. I think it's a really good thing.
What other condiments will they add to the mix?
Yeah, just go to the kiosk, get some sauce packets.
Tomato, barbecue, pick your flavour.
Alrighty, I'm back for the rest of the MAD competition. Looks like we're heading over to Vault, where we have, I believe, Jesse Moore. We'll be interested to see if he does his new Vault. He debuted it at the Commonwealth Games trial. He unfortunately sat it down there, but then stomped the landing at Oceania Championships, where he scored a 14 and tied with myself in Vault. So I'm excited to see him bring it here. A part of his plan of wanting to be one of the top 3 in the world is he knew he had to upgrade his Vault. So this is one step to that. Wants to put the double front out in competition, get the confidence with it, and then eventually upgrade to the handspring double front half. Standing at the end of the 25-meter runway. Deep breath.
Come on, Jesse.
Oh. Not sure what happened there. Looks like he may have slipped in his run or the board.
Handspring?
I think it was
The
before
hands?
the
Was it before? It looked like the jump on the
I think
board
it's
or
the
something.
board because he didn't even commit to the
Yeah.
vault, which ultimately is probably the right decision. Yeah, but
I'm
I
glad he
believe that's going to be a 0 for him.
yeah, if you don't land feet first.
Look, fortunately for him, the all-around will reset on Friday. Usually it is just today. So
Yeah.
for this format, it's okay for him. Look, I'm just glad he's
Okay.
okay, yeah. But it looks like it may have been an equipment malfunction, yeah, or a real
Slipped
slip.
on the board.
Look, and if that's the case, the people in charge will come over and have a look at it. And if they do believe it's an equipment malfunction, he should get another go at the vault.
Yes.
That
is tends to be what happens if the equipment malfunctions.
But to be fair, I don't think I've ever really seen that happen on vault. I've seen maybe a bar snap or grips.
Yeah, well, there was the famous vault mishap
There
in
was
2000 Olympic
Olympics.
Games.
Yeah, Korkina was not happy about that.
No, I don't think many people were.
For those who are unaware, the vault was put at the wrong height at the Olympic Games in the women's all-around final at the 2000 Sydney Olympics. And they didn't realize till 2 or 3 rotations in.
Yeah, so many athletes competed vault, KO'd.
Yeah. Yeah,
and
somewhat they were offered all a redo, but by the end of the competition, for those that started in vault and just their competition went out the window, they were like, no, thank you.
It is very difficult mentally to,
yeah,
especially the vault at that point in time was the old vault.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
The skinny, long, very similar to the pommel horse.
Yeah, absolutely.
So be very mentally challenging to do it all over again.
So it looks like they've called over both those responsible for Spieth as well as Rowan Kennedy and Andrew Cautery for the selection committee, the men's technical committee. So they're going to have a look at this. And as we said, look, for Jesse, he is such a strong part of our team, but this is a World Championship selection as well. So they're going to want to be sure that it was an issue of the vault. But it looks like
it was a very uncharacteristic move by Jesse for something like that to happen. So, you know.
There's going to be a query about what it was, but for him, he's in such a strong position. He's really cemented himself as our top athlete, so glad he's safe and able to continue on his pathway to Glasgow. Alrighty, over to the pommel horse. All right, James Hardy onto floor. He is known for his floor alongside his vault. Very powerful athlete here. Front full. Punch a really nice double front. Oh, bit of an awkward hop there, Jimbo, to the corner. I'll be telling him to fix that after this competition. Nice double pike to stick, so, you know, makes up for it.
Makes up for it.
But yeah, in the new code as well, that's also a 0.1 deduction if you don't show amplitude to the corner, like in your transition. So there's a lot of things that athletes have to get on top of. And
Yeah.
when you're doing such big passes like this, it's often your last thought. But it's an adjustment, and yeah, a lot of athletes are still transitioning to it.
Also, just a fun fact for the folks at home, you often see the athletes land with their feet apart and they just put their heels together at the end. That is so they don't get a deduction. As long as their heels can touch, no deduction. But if they're further apart, deductions.
2.5 punch, nice layout to a stuck landing. 1 pass left for Jimbo. This has been a great routine so far. Just the double Arabian dismount. Cheated that takeoff a little bit, but look, he made it around.
He's on his feet.
Big.
Long double Arabian,
yeah.
but it's executed well.
On his feet and in the floor.
Yeah.
Can't ask for much more.
Can't ask for anything other than that.
Over to high bar. We had rhythm fall on his to catch a layout I saw in the corner of my eye, so he's going to hop up and finish this routine. There's the Tkachev straddle, this time on the bar. That one-arm giant we mentioned earlier.
So impressive.
This one a deliberate one, however.
Deliberate one.
Yeah. And then we have the double-double layout to a pretty good landing, almost stuck there, so good way to finish the routine there for Rhythm Malik. Hope we get to see this next routine on high bar, because this is Ewan, who I mentioned earlier on pommel, known for his lines and flexibility, has an incredible full twisting Jaeger layout. One of the best I've seen in the world. It's already a rare skill as is, got increased to a G value this code of points, but he does it meticulously. I can't really fault it.
It's a beautiful skill.
Sure is.
Do you do that skill?
I sure
You
do,
don't
yeah.
you? Yeah. I remember seeing you do that skill.
Sure do. I think I was the first Australian to do it.
A lot of mag athletes at the moment are trying to do that one.
Well, yeah, it got it increased. Yeah, so
Yeah.
pretty much it's like give it a shot and see what happens.
Yeah.
But it's deceptively hard.
Yep.
But yeah, kind of person I think in mind that would have done really well in this code of points. I mean, he was already a world champion back in the 2000s, but Phil Rizzo
Yes.
had a nice full twisting ginger alongside other great releases, and I mean, he didn't need it because he was already world champion, but he was very much ahead of his time.
First world champion.
Sure was.
My memory of Phil was on world trips, him and his guitar, trying to convince people to play his guitar, convince people to listen to him play his guitar.
Did anyone listen or play to the guitar?
Every now and then he would corner you.
Oh, okay, so
He'd
you
get
just
stuck.
kind of...
But he was very good. It
well,
was
that's
fun.
good at least. At least it wasn't bad.
He was a good teammate to have on a team.
What about a good guitar player?
And
No
on
comment.
bars,
Alrighty, speaking of, we have Ewan Econoville up on high bar. Sit back and enjoy. If this routine goes to plan, it melts like butter. Straight into the stoop. Easy L grip giant. Here we go. The Jaeger full twist. Stunning.
wow.
Little bit of pike around the end, but holds it very well. Nice stoop half. Here he goes into his Piatti. Gorgeous lines. Just the dismount here. Always a challenging skill for Ewan, but oh, there we go. Well done,
Wow.
Ewan. He has been working hard in the gym. I train alongside him. It's something that he's often fallen back on, but he held on to that one today. So he's going to be very happy with that and should qualify him through to Sunday's event final on high bar.
Great routine, great routine.
Stepped into this team today after Joseph D'Souza Bullman's injury last night. So very late call up, but
Yeah.
seems to be doing his job so far from what we've seen on pommel and high bar. That looks like we're getting towards the end of the men's rotation, potentially. few things happening. Still discussions happening over on Vault regarding Jesse Moore's mishap. Not sure where they've landed on that one just yet, but you can see he's just waiting probably for an official decision from the higher-ups, so he's just having a little chat to the judges and enjoying himself, but looks like he might be getting another go. We'll be curious if he does get another go, if he gets another warm-up, because he's been staying there for quite some time.
Yeah, it's quite a wait when things like this happen.
Yeah.
You have to stay focused.
Yeah, there we go. So he's going back for another vault. So
Nice.
this is going to be interesting. It definitely takes a lot. Obviously, double front's a new vault for him, and kind of having that bit of a scare. Did a great job to save it, but I think it's hard to not have that in the back of your mind, what the board's going to do this time around. So
Yeah.
hopefully they fixed it, and he has some, security in that, and he can just focus on the technicality of the skill and put it to his feet.
I think people underestimate how challenging a
Yeah.
situation like this can be after waiting like that and now having to go again.
Yeah, for sure. So one warm up. Nice handspring pike off just to get it moving.
Yep.
Looks like the board held well that time, so that should give him the confidence, and he'll walk back to the vault run and salute and give this one another go. And it looks like there was still another athlete actually in that rotation as well with him. I believe it's Oliver Donut of Victoria. So it looks like he will probably also get another warm-up. Yeah, these things, not necessarily this often happens, but gymnastics competitions, there's always some hold-up, it seems.
Yeah, you always have to be prepared.
Sure do. Prepared and adaptive. Chenko warming up there for Oliver. Or Ollie. Trained back with him when I was 11 years old, I think, back at the Melbourne HPC, which is
Wow.
now the HPP. Where did you train? Waverley.
Waverley.
Right. Nice.
Yep.
There we go. So Jesse back at the end of the vault run. Judges are ready.
Let's go. Take two.
Oh man, Jesse. All right, here we go. Jesse Moore of South Australia, the reigning all-around national champion, Olympic finalist, world finalist. The list of accolades goes on. Double front, he goes for it. Just sits it down. But look, after that, I'm just very happy he safely through this apparatus, and whilst it wasn't to his feet, he got another one out in competition.
Another one under the belt.
Exactly, and as we said, he really does have that cushion. He is by far our top athlete, so he has a bit of that ability to play with skills and construction over these next few years as he refines it to what hopes is a great LA campaign.
Yeah. The LA games are going to be pretty amazing. I'm very excited to see what they do.
Yeah, they'll be pretty amazing. It's interesting from the mag side. It's hard to tell where we sit with the team. So we obviously want to. The last time we had a team was 1956 Melbourne Games.
Wow.
And I believe that was by default because it was a host games at the time. So the way it works with this Olympic qualification is there are 12 teams of 5, and that is determined from the World Championships this year and next year. Then beyond that, if you don't qualify from that, it's something like 36 individuals from various qualification methods.
Yeah.
So it's very, very hard. Last time we only had one athlete at the Games for men's gymnastics, and that was Jesse Moore, and he won that through the all-around quota spot at Oceania. And a nice Yuchenko full stuck there from
Stuck
Ole
landing.
Good on him for waiting that long and delivering a great vault. But yeah, so we're kind of gunning to try and make a team, but still early in the quad. We're sitting similar to what a lot of other teams are, and there's a lot of work to be done, but it's nice to at least have the glimmer of hope that it's possible, because I know Jesse's main goal is to have people out there on the floor with him as games come around. So let's hope we can make that happen. And in first place right now, we have Jesse Moore with our updated second vault, 68.8. Hinata Caballero, 68.332, so only 0.5 between it now going into the last apparatus. And James Hardy, 66.232, which is a very high score for him currently. Aiden Frick, 4th with a 64.6, and rounding out the top 5, Ridham Malik, 64.6.
And obviously the final rotation for Mag. Do you anticipate anything changing with this last rotation?
Let me think. So we have what looks like New South Wales on floor. So finishing Hinata will be on floor, and then finishing on P-bars, which Jesse is a World Cup medalist on. So I expect him to hold his lead if all goes to plan. Will be interesting to see what James Hardy does next. I believe he is up over on pommel, so tough one to finish, but if he can go a 12 plus, he's PBing for the season, so that's a great
motivation.
The
Queensland team pommel,
exactly. So that'd be a great motivation for him to post a PB this close to Com Games.
And then Vic heading to the rings.
Yep, they sure
And then we've got ACT Queensland individual on a vault. SA Vic individual parallel bars, and then horizontal bar. New South Wales individual. I do have to say, obviously, there was a lot of action around the vault in that last one, and other competitors are standing across the other side of the gym watching it. What does that do to you mentally, knowing that something went down a vault?
Yeah, look, I think from a perspective of an athlete, you're just happy it's not an injury, because that's what usually throws you off, and it's really hard seeing a teammate, even if not on your state team, go down, get injured. So I think everyone would just be relieved to see it went okay, while it's not to plan, but still you're waiting there for what was 10 minutes plus. They're getting cold, so they weren't going into that last apparatus. You know, those teams are wanting to build that momentum to try and snatch that title. So you kind of just get around your mates and have a little chat and think not about gymnastics for 10 minutes, and then
don't let yourself get in the head.
Yeah, pretty much. They're probably just talking smack about other things, and then that will keep them occupied until now they're warming up for their last apparatus.
And what about Jesse? For him, he's obviously done that first vault, wants to get it inspected essentially by the officials. What would be going through his mind at that stage, and how do you pick yourself back up and literally get back on the horse?
Yeah, as mentioned, I think Jesse is so long-term focused right now. Obviously, I think he'd be a bit frustrated by that, but made it through safely. His goal is top 3 in the world. He's looking beyond Australian Championships, and he knows to do that you have to have a lot of trial and error, and he's consistently said that for the last 2 years, and that's showing in his results. So ultimately, he's going to put that as an experience and take it for what it is and focus on P-bars, which World Cup medalist on as of this year. So he's going to want a big finish.
Of course. And in training in general for gymnasts, if you do perform a skill and it doesn't quite go to plan, is the best thing to do that immediately again, that skill, or do you take a bit of a breather?
Yeah, it depends. It can vary. So many different factors. Sometimes it's a mental game, and sometimes taking that step back from that skill for an hour, a day, a week, whatever it may be, is helpful, and sometimes you just need the reps on the skill to get it better. So it depends on where you're in that journey on that skill, but ultimately that's when the conversations and the co-working space of an athlete and a coach come in.
Of course. And it was made very well known, especially by Simone Biles, but gymnasts can become essentially, they can develop a fear of a particular way of twisting or a backwards fear. Talk a little bit about what happens when you go through that.
Yeah, it's kind of a phenomenon that it's hard to specify it, but in saying that, obviously famously in Tokyo 2020 or 2021, Simone Biles got the twisties. So essentially, cognitively, her brain disconnected from her body, and it's when you go to do a skill and you want to do one thing and your body does something completely different. Very dangerous, very terrifying, and ultimately was the right decision for her to step back and put her well-being first, open the conversation up for gymnastics, but just people in general, and who we are beyond our capabilities in a professional space. And I was lucky enough to catch up with her in September when she visited Sydney, and we got dinner, and that was one of the best decisions, as hard as it was for her to do, and now she's living a happy life.
Absolutely. Things are really revving up right now because we are on the final rotation of the mag for day 1 of the Senior International. Of course, Friday the 3rd of July, Senior International Mag and Wag Day 2. And then we have our mixed team competition Saturday the 4th of July, 5 p.m. till 7 p.m. If you do want to get closer to this action, if the live stream is just not cutting it and you want to be here in person at the Key Centre, Sydney Olympic Park, jump online, grab those tickets, ozgymnasticschamps.com.au. Day passes, unlimited passes, single session passes, and VIP package also available. And of course, we have a host of action for you over the next 3 weeks, including men's artistic gymnastics, women's artistic gymnastics, trampoline, rhythmic, acrobatic, and aerobic.
Yeah, get onto the tickets. I know it's end of financial year, so hopefully you get your tax return soon, and then you can justify it with the purchase of the ticket. But yeah, come on down. It's a great atmosphere and something you want to see.
And of course, your brilliant commentators, Heath Thorpe and Georgia Benora. Over to you.
Welcome back, Georgia.
If WAG had this many apparatus, I don't know if I'd be able to do that. I don't know how you guys do that.
Oh, that's why I stopped all around, Georgia. That's why I stopped it.
It's crazy.
It's horrible.
4 is a perfect amount.
Oh, it'd be so great. It'd be so
Perfect
good.
amount.
I honestly do think it's a contribution to the popularity of MAG. It's such a long competition. There's so much to understand and digest as an audience. They're very long comps, but if they're long comps for an audience, imagine how it feels as an athlete.
Yes, very true.
Looks like on floor in the background, we have Ben Foster getting ready to go. He is a Commonwealth Games team member, breakout year this year, had never been selected for a senior national team prior to this, and now he's heading to Glasgow. So quite impressive. So I'm excited to see what he puts together. Was the silver medalist at the Luxembourg Open this year in April, and one of the top scorers in Oceania. Starts off with a double front there in the background, very nicely done, known for his clean gymnastics. And in the foreground here, we actually have Chris Remke, the 2018 Commonwealth Games vault champion, who's recently made a comeback.
The Chris Remkes.
Oh, I love
in
Chris.
In the flesh.
Yes, consider yourselves blessed. Double twist in the background there from Ben. Diamond off here from Chris. Into the Tapel, sits a little bit, but makes it all the way up.
Chris has had quite the break, and again, he's
sure has. Oh,
coming back.
Speaking of breaks, I think, yeah, it's hard to get back to that level.
It's hard to get back, it is, but very impressive. It's
nonetheless, yeah.
It's always impressive seeing athletes get back into the sport they love.
Alrighty, up next on vault, we have James Bakawati's second vault. We just missed it on the broadcast, but he did probably the best handspring double front half I've seen him do since the Paris qualifications World Cups. Been struggling a little bit with his vaults this season, but he was looking very strong in podium training yesterday, and excited to see if he can put this triple twist to his feet. Come on, James. Oh, unfortunately, just didn't get it around. But look, he went for it, and to be doing a triple twist as your second vault is
it's insane.
Wild.
The difficulty level that he's putting out there is world class.
Absolutely. Also, not heading to Glasgow this year, but a Commonwealth Games bronze medalist on vault in 2022. Alrighty, Jesse Moore up on P-bars. As I said, one of his best events, World Cup medalist at the World Cup earlier in the season. Starts with his clear hit mount. Has to take a few steps back, and for those at home, every time you do that is a 0.1. So you want to look for steady hands on P-bars, but Felga handstand right into the Makuts.
Nicely done.
Very nice. Now we're seeing the work he's known for. Very steady, very calm. Hanma, straight to handstand, no pike in that swing. Healy. Diamidov. Small hand placement there. Stutz into the front of Bryce. Double front. Will he stick? And he does. Jesse Moore finishes his day 1 of competition, and it's going to be a huge score.
Finishing your day of comp with a stuck dismount is got to feel good.
It's such a regular occasion for him to stick that dismount. When he doesn't, it feels odd. And that's a blind landing, so...
That's why he's Jesse Moore.
Exactly. And we just had Hinata Caballero go up on floor, who we were watching the scores closely with, so I'm interested to see where that comes out on in terms of the final standings of today's qualification for the all-around final on Friday. In the background, we have Queensland finishing up in pommel, which is a tough one to do in a team competition, and fortunately just a fall there. But the competition's not over till it's over. Speaking of, Hinata Caballero finishes on an 81.498, and James Hardy has himself a day with a 78.598. Aiden Frick, 77.531. See where it finishes in the end, but that top score right now, 81.498, is the one to chase, and Jesse Moore very much could go past it. So once that comes through, I'll give you an update. Oliver Dilner up on P-bars. Felger misses a handstand a little bit, but works through. Diamidov done nicely into the Stutz. Front of Bryce. Into the dismount, double tuck, pulls it around, but makes it to his feet. Well done, Ollie. All right, moving over to floor, we have New South Wales finishing up their team competition, heading into this one in the lead, and we have Rita Malik, Commonwealth Games team member in Glasgow, coming up. He's going to be wanting to be finishing strong here. He won the trial ahead of Jesse Moore, actually. Admittedly, Jesse did have a rough day, but that's gymnastics, and whoever comes out on top is the winner of that day. So not many people can say they've outscored Jesse Moore recently in Australia.
Put that on your resume.
Nice double twist, punch front full there from Rhythm to start. Two and a half punch layup. Double front as a side pass, quite impressive.
Very impressive.
To his artistic requirement of the jump full and right into the Russian floor work. Great pommel worker, so naturally uses that skill to tick off his non-acrobatic requirement. As mentioned, trains at Penn State currently, pursuing a degree in business. Double pike, unfortunately just lands short. Kicked it out quite early. I think the height was there. He just...
It was a great double pike.
Just good.
Miscalculated that landing.
And it looks like we are about to wrap up the competition. I think we have one more routine on rings.
Finishing on rings has got to be tough.
It is, but it depends. If you don't have a lot of strength elements, it isn't too bad. But if you're an athlete who's good at rings, unfortunately, it's hard. So yeah, speaking of scores, Jesse Moore came out on top with an 82.265 PB for him this year after going an 80 or 81 at the Oceania Championship. So congratulations to him. He is the leader after day one, but scores will reset on Friday. And as mentioned, it's going to be a tightly contested competition between Hinata and Jesse, so keep an eye out for that. James Hardy went a PB this season again, 78.598, so that's a great showing for him. And Aiden Frick comes in fourth, who is actually the reserve for the Commonwealth Games team currently. So you often see that someone gets selected as a reserve and they come out all guns blazing saying, hey, I believe I wanted to be on that team. I should be on that team. I'm going to prove it to you.
Sometimes it's just the thing they need to, really up their game.
Yeah, light the fire underneath them. So good for them. And then looking at the top 15, it's great to see so many senior international men's gymnasts in Australia. It's crazy.
It really is. I was just going to say that.
Yep.
I haven't seen this many, men's athletes to this standard in quite a while.
It's wild, 37 athletes. But yeah, I guess that wraps up the competition for today. Great showing of gymnastics from both men's and women's gymnastics. What did you think?
It was unbelievable, honestly. Just the strength, the grit, the determination, the skill, obviously. And I just cannot get over what they're overcoming mentally. Every single minute of this competition, it is just constantly, okay, that skill didn't go how I planned. I got to pretend it didn't happen because I got to pick myself up and complete this routine. So it has been unbelievable, and there is so much action over the next 3 weeks. So please join us again for the live stream for the Australian Gymnastics Championships 2026. The next live stream will be Friday, the 3rd of July, Senior International Mag and Wag Day 2 from 5:30 p.m. But of course, we do have some action in the actual gymnasium tomorrow and over the next 3 weeks, and you can grab your tickets at ozgymnasticschamps.com.au. Day passes, unlimited passes, single session passes, VIP package, and our amazing commentators today, they'll be joining us over the next few days on the live stream as well. Australian and Oceania champion Heath Thorpe and dual Olympian and 3-time Commonwealth Games medalist Georgia Benora. So thank you so much, and
Pleasure.
we cannot wait to hear more of your amazing commentary.
Thank you so much for having us.